So I had gotten in a self-involved accident where I hit a pole that was in my blind spot. And it is 150% that fucking pole's fault for being there. Crazy. No, I wasn't distracted. I just wasn't alert as I usually am. I literally pulled up and there was an empty lot across the street and I didn't feel like driving all the way. I don't know why I'm fucking explaining this shit to you people, but so anyways, I just made an immediate right and there's blind spots and there was a fucking pole like in that area and I crunched it. And so I took a picture of it. I texted the office manager, the owner's daughter, and said, fuck, I hit the truck by myself, it's my fault, and here's a picture of it, and it's in the area that the other dude had gotten in an accident. And not that, you know, I didn't say getting into all of it, but I just showed her. And she said, well, you gotta be, she said, just text me back, well, just be more careful. And I was like, like getting an accident right here. I was like, yeah, well, that's the plan. But I said, let me know if you want me to call your dad or send him a picture. I don't know if he's in the office because he only comes in from like 10 to 1. He don't really be, you know, in there like that, but he's around if you need him, you know, and so don't worry about it, you know. So I wasn't expecting them to ask me to take a drug test or anything like that, and they didn't, you know what I mean? But it's funny that now that you can pass a drug test, you know what I mean, nobody wants one, you know? And I have a feeling the dude that got in the fucking accident the first time, he's gone now, but he's been here like fucking 6 years. I had a feeling he was high, you know what I mean? And I got mixed feelings about like people smoking weed at work. It's kind of like a case-by-case basis. Like as long as you don't smell like weed and you're not operating at like, because there's some people, like I've had family members that like my cousin and my other cousin, they could operate at a pretty high level of you know, but they were, you know, OCD and fucking, you know, getting shit done regardless. Then there's other people where, like me, I lock my keys in my fucking car while it's running, you know, and I'm eating ice cream while I'm driving, and it just, it took me a while to learn. I didn't really learn how to smoke weed and drive until I was like in my late 30s, because I stopped smoking weed when I was 20, you know what I mean? And it's not my thing, you know. But yeah, it's funny because like people today, everywhere you go, you know, it's in people's houses. It's more whatever. I don't fuck with the Delta 8 or Delta 9. I had a brief period, about 3.5, right during mid-COVID, I kind of like gave it a shot. But then the more I, you know, felt like God was just telling me to stay away from that shit, that it's garbage. Because I'm not against people growing their own weed, but my other thing is has that been genetically modified in a way to fucking fuck you up? Probably. Do you know what I mean? I just know that when I was a young kid, you know, in the 90s, the best decade that ever happened, I just know that shit wasn't the way it was like today. Weed wasn't. You could smoke some weed and be good, you know. I remember one time I took a Benadryl and I ended up going to my friend Ken Kozaki's house on Chestnut Street. He had a Fender Stratocaster, and he sit there smoking weed, and then this hot chick who ended up being my high school sweetheart came over, and she was a fucking pothead. She could smoke. We started clam baking, smoking a blunt, and That shit made me so fucking sick, so I walked outside and puked. And then I'm thinking, like, I'm 16 years old. The hottest girl in the fucking world to me is upstairs, and here I am outside, like, I can't, everybody's gonna go, like, man, you smoked weed and you puked? What are you, a pussy? You know what I mean? Especially in high school. Now I'd have to call 911. The weed is just too strong for me. Unless it's really good sativa and you get just that right little hit where it pumps you up and da-da-da-da-da. But I'm not into, I'm not against people doing it. Do whatever you want. You can have your medical crystal meth card for all I care. You know what I mean? I had a guy at the gym talking to me about mushrooms, and he was like, yeah, I buy them at this head shop. I go, what do you mean you buy mushrooms? He goes, oh yeah, they're synthetic. He was like, you want to try? I go, fuck no, man, I ain't trying no synthetic mushrooms. He's like, why? I go, because this shit's counterfeit, bro. He's like, what do you mean counterfeit? It's just I go, yeah, that's what they tell you. I go, that weed, mushrooms, kratom, plants, are meant, it's like coca, the cocaine leaf, coca leaves, like you could chew on them, you know what I mean? But don't add jet fuel and, crunch them up with your feet, you know what I mean, in the middle of the rainforest. And add other things to them, like ether and whatever the fuck they do, and make it a paste, in its original form, it's good to go, But, yeah, I'm not trying no synthetic mushrooms. You can get fucked on that, man. And nobody ever told me, like, because I took mushrooms, like, one time after the Warped Tour, best Warped Tour ever. We met, like, NoFX, Face to Face, Bad Religion, all these guys were backstage, and that's a whole nother story. But nobody told me, like, sex on mushrooms. Like, people never really, like, they talk about sex on MDMA, which I've never had. I've only done MDMA, like, twice in my life. And Molly, I've never even done that I know of. I mean, to me, I don't know what's the difference between Molly and MDMA. I don't really fucking care to find out, because I would take MDMA and go to the gym. But, what were we talking about? That's weed for you. LSD was a big thing when I was a kid. I wouldn't fuck with that shit again if you gave me fucking a briefcase. I had a really, 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 really bad fucking trip on LSD, and I almost murdered my cousin. He was all joking around going, man, I think I put too much blotter on this paper. I go, bro, don't even tell me that you fucking are the one that engineered this fucking debacle, because you're not smart enough to fucking put 2 quarters in a payphone and make a long distance call. You know what I mean? You're not a chemist. And he was like, no, man. And then I remember we were tripping balls, and fucking I forget what. Oh, I looked at my girlfriend at the time, and I said to her, babe, I'm tripping so bad right now. I said, oh my God. And she goes, I know, isn't it great? And I'm like, no, it's not. Man, fucking demons were coming out of the walls and shit. I was like, what the fuck? And I remember, like, going upstairs and looking at my cousin's shotgun and going, if I'm still like this tomorrow, I'm fucking, I'm fucking shooting this dude. You know what I mean? And that shit, after that, dude, I quit everything for, like, shit, for years. There's my little cat, Sammy.